coming at you in the evening. This time. Normally I'm coming at you during the day on the weekend. But we are doing our last field here of chisel plowing. There's like this field's like a 5 acre long contour strip, and I've got half of it done on the back half already, so it's like 2.5 acres here left. Really the only reason I'm videotaping this is because I have had relatively no problems on this, but had real good luck on the strip above it, a couple strips above it. Corn stalks keep plugging it up all the time, so this field didn't have quite as good a corn on it last year because there was no tilled in the sod last year, and corn planter didn't do a real good job of covering up the seed trough or seed furrow, so it didn't germinate as well. So there's not as many corn stalks in this, and we ran the disc over this to hopefully fix the problem. It's worked okay here, but the field above it didn't work at all. It was not fun at all to do. So yeah, we haven't planted any corn yet. We did spread some fertilizer last night on the oats. But we haven't. Once I get this chisel plowed, we'll unhook the chisel plow from this and get it hooked to the corn planter. Plan is, I guess it's a plan in my head anyway. Really ran it past my brother at this point yet, but I think we should be able to plant this weekend. It's there's like a 50% chance of rain on, I think it's on Friday, Thursday night, tomorrow's Thursday. It is Wednesday night. I think there's like a 50% chance of rain, but it doesn't sound like it's going to be a lot of rain. So, hoping it's not enough to spoil our chances to plant. But yeah, so get the chisel plow hooked. Get this hooked to the planter. We gotta take the one dual wheel off of this 12. The hub come loose on it last night while I was spreading fertilizer with it, and to the point where I literally just pulled back in the yard and it almost was ready to fall off. So we got to do a little something with that. Technically, the dual hubs on that tractor are not correct for that tractor. That tractor has got hubs off of what I believe is a 5088, which has a 3.5-inch axle, and we do have some shims, some homemade shims we stick in there, but they just don't seem to keep it tight. It seems like every year we kind of run into it coming loose. This is the first time it's got this bad. I think one other year we actually had to take the dual off and then re-tighten it. Normally in the last other years that we've done it, it maybe pop here and there once in a while, but they don't ever come loose to the point where they're going to come off. So the biggest problem with it is it's so it's got a 3.25-inch axle, and the dual wheels on it are 10 bolt, and they're meant for tractors with bigger axles. So to try to find a 3.25-inch axle with 10 bolt hubs is kind of hard. So I think once we get done with this year, we'll probably see if we can't find a set. I'd have guys that are looking for me, and some people have found some, but I haven't. You know, they're not exactly something that's easy to ship. I mean, they're small, but they weigh. They're probably close to 100 pounds a piece. To ship them would probably be a little costly. So some of those things that I find a day we can drive somewhere to go get some. But anyway, story for another day. But anyway, so we got to do that, and then I'm gonna have. I dug up a big rock on the field above me here, where I was telling you about, where the corn stalks were such a pain. So we're gonna have to put the tractor in the bucket and scoop that up out of there, and then I got corn fodder that got plugged up in the chisel plow itself. Some places I just drug it. It was close to the edge of the bean field above me here. I just kind of drug it out in the bean field, so I didn't have to go back trying to bury it back in the ground. So, oh, there's a tree down over there. That's nice. So yeah, but yeah, hopefully get some seed in the ground this weekend. But, it's finally warmed up a little bit. It's been windier than heck out the last few days. So today wasn't quite as breezy, but it still was a little windy. So had a pretty nice full moon right now. My LEDs are working nice. So there's the bright white, and then that's not quite so bright white out back. So we'll see if we get. The biggest problem with this tractor is about at night. It doesn't bother me here so much because I got nothing behind me that's reflective. But like, especially at night, if I'm using the grain cart on it, it reflects off the back of the front of the grain cart through the window. Then it all reflects on the windshield in front of me. It kind of glares. So I don't want to put too bright a light back there and end up can't see nothing out the windshield. So round baler's another thing, but I don't round bale at night normally. So and you know, it looks dusty out. It's dry on top, but you look close enough there, you know, the dirt is sticking to the tires of the tractor, so it isn't really super duper dry down underneath. So so yeah, when we got a bunch. Speaking of this weekend yet, I guess kind of getting off track, blabbering here, but still got fertilizer to spread. On the soybean ground and the corn ground yet. I'm waiting. We spread fertilizer last night on the oats, and I decided that we just hold off until we get this tractor free to do it with. So, because the wheels are about ready to fall off of the 12, the dual is. The 756, it works okay to spread fertilizer with. But we may have to spread it over the ground that's not soil finished yet, like this. Now the duals on it might be a little rough. And the drawbar on that has got, I don't know, it's kind of an excessive play in it. And the fertilizer buggy really like pulls up on it when you get a lot of weight on the back of the buggy. And I don't want to break the buggy first off, or my tractor. So I told him just to hold off on bringing the other stuff out until we get stuff chisel plowed, and we can use this tractor if we don't have the dual wheels fixed on the 1256 yet. So I'm going to have a little bit of a history lesson here. I don't know dates or anything like that, and I'm just going off of what my dad told us, you know, as kids. But the strip that I'm chisel plowing on, and we're gonna come up to it here about halfway back. But there used to be, so the farm that we live on, it's like 400 acres, okay, of mostly woods. I mean, there's like 100 acres of work land, but the farm 150 years ago was there was 3 separate farms at least on the acreage that we have. When my great grandpa, when my great grandpa bought it, it was just what we are farming currently, which was, you know, a lot of acres back in 1912. You know, to farm 100 acres with, you know, horses would have been not something I would be real interested in. Anyway, on the farm there was other farms, and just up here a ways is where one of the other farms was at. Now, my dad, who was born in 1938 on the farm here, doesn't ever remember the buildings there, but there's still remnants of the buildings there, and yeah, he goes off of them. And I don't know, my grandpa Larson, he passed away when I was like 4 or 5, so I didn't get to hear any stories from him about if he remembers the buildings. I don't ever remember, you know, asking my dad if Grandpa, whoever remembers the buildings. You know, these are things like this. You know, you can go back in time and wish, man, you know what? You should have asked that question. You did. So, my public service announcement to all you folks out there is if you have older folk in your family, that you talk to them, sit and listen, ask them questions, you know, about stuff like that if history interests you. And it does me, but I don't know anything about what went on here. So, but in this field there used to be a well up here across from where the buildings were on the edge of the woods here, down in the edge of the woods a little ways. There's still an indentation in the ground of where the house used to be, and then a little farther there's a foundation of where the barn used to be. We always use that reference of the old house in reference to where we're at on the ridge. Like, hey, I'm over by the old house. I know exactly where you're at on the ridge. You're up over in this corner over here. So, another street there. But yeah, we'll come up here a little bit. She'll come up here pretty soon. But yeah, there used to be a well in this field here, and it was all filled in. But I remember as a kid when we used to moldboard plow, we used to hit that sucker with the moldboard plow all the time. It would trip the bottoms on the plow. Ever since, it doesn't do it anymore. I think at this point I've already went over where it would have been. But right over there's like a little clump of trees. I'm just gonna stop so you can see. But right over there's trees right there, and there's a little indentation, if you can see it, in the ground right there. That's where the old house used to sit. And right up in this area here is where the well was. And saying that anymore, we don't hit it, but we used to remember as a kid hitting it with we'd even hit it with like the hay bine too. It would bounce up over the hay bine a little bit, but it wasn't metal, it was just rock from the. So I'm hoping at some point this doesn't turn into a big sinkhole here. That's a little scary. But down in there, now you'll never see it, but it's down in the woods a little farther, but down in there is where the old barn used to be. And there's still a rock ledge in there where you can go in there and see where the barn used to be. It's not anything tall, it's only a foot high. It's been a while since I've actually been out in there. You may not even be able to see it anymore. So, yeah, that's part of one of the old farms that used to be up on this part of this farm, even though it wasn't owned by the same people. So there's another one down in the valley, up in the 60 is what we would call it. There's another old farmstead up in there. But yeah, so yeah, I'm just gonna finish up chiseling here, get this done, and hopefully have some video this weekend of us planting. We're talking rain. I said a little bit on, I think, Thursday night into Friday. They're talking maybe a couple of tenths. Nothing major, and then they're talking rain again on Sunday evening. So yeah, hopefully we get at least something corn planted or beans. It's going to be a little bit of trial and error this year because we did a bunch of work to the corn planter, so it isn't going to be those things where we're just going to run right out and start planting. I'm sure there's going to be some adjusting and such. So anyway, if you didn't notice, we do have the back window put back in the tractor now. We put that in, I think that was last weekend we put that in. So it's nice and clean, and it's nice to, yeah, they're like $144 from Case IH, so it's not even a bad price that way. So yeah, but anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go. It's past my bedtime, but I just need to get this done so we can move forward with other stuff. So anyway, we will talk to you guys later.